In anticipation of this review, I had been watching some coverage of Sunset Overdrive online, looking to see what people thought of the game. And in doing so, I began to ponder the question of how many people need to call a game underrated before it has achieved an adequately rated status. Its original 2014 release was an exclusive to the least popular console last gen, and it lacked an existing IP to prop itself up. It didn't receive a PC release until 4 years later, which did posthumously give it a second wind in terms of players and coverage, but not really to put it at the same level you'd imagine a game from a major publisher and developer to be on. Whether or not it's underrated probably depends on how you view it to be rated currently, and even if I can't give a definitive answer to that question, I can certainly say it's fun. But perhaps more importantly, during that exercise I came across a YouTube comment that so accurately and so perfectly described the game that it shook me to my core. It was a sentence so profound yet so simple that it felt like it was discovered rather than written, and it certainly influenced the writing of this script. Sunset Overdrive absolutely is, quote, Mountain Dew in game form. What does it mean to be Mountain Dew in game form? It means Sunset Overdrive is the punk rock counterculture. It means it's the don't care mohawk wearing attitude that flips off the system. It means it's the edgy alternative to your mom's favorite open world RPG. It means it's got the same rebellious spirit of everyone's favorite carbonated lemon lime soft drink, or at least what PepsiCo's marketing team has personified that spirit to be. Sunset Overdrive being the Mountain Dew of video games might just be its most polarizing aspect. I know this sort of don't care fourth wall breaking humor doesn't work for everyone, but I thought it fit. I'll acknowledge there's kind of a cringe curve you gotta get over at first, the one inherent to basically any product created by a bunch of 30 plus somethings in an office about youth resistance culture. But once you get used to it, there are some good jokes in there. I think it helps that Sunset Overdrive never tries to be anything but an exaggerated caricature of a video game. It begs you not to take it seriously at nearly every opportunity. Deaths are played for laughs, characters are just joke vending machines, and it's only like 90 seconds of gameplay until you get a gun that's shaped like a penis, and the game only escalates from there until it climaxes. Sunset's nameless character-created protagonist is a gamer, and he goes on Reddit just like us guys, and you can practically feel him winking at the camera with every line of dialogue. It's not laugh-out-loud gut-busting comedy as much as it is smirk-inducing comedy, with its standout moments usually when the game can correctly align both yours and your character's perspectives. I died while scaling a large tower and chuckled as the protag sighed in relief that the respawn point wasn't all the way at the bottom. That's the kind of material we're dealing with here, and while not all of them are going to land, with such an insane jokes per hour pace it's going at, you're conversely going to like at least a few of them, right? Love it or hate it, the game does have style, and not only is that style consistent, it's also totally a great fit for the gameplay. A surface level glance at Sunset Overdrive suggests that it's one of the clear these icons off the map sort of open world games that dominated the previous console generation. And while that is a correct assessment, it's got something that a lot of its genre contemporaries don't. A central gameplay hook that ties all of its disparate pieces together. Sunset Overdrive is about locomotion, and in hindsight it makes a ton of sense that Insomniac ended up being trusted with the Spider-Man license after this game's release. The icons and collectibles on the map matter far less than the journey between them, and in Sunset Overdrive's case, that's not going to be via committing grand theft on any automobiles, but instead via rail grinding. This is an extreme sports game masquerading as an open-world action game, and the Sunset City where it takes place is practically a skate park cosplaying as a city. Nearly everything can be ground on. Rooftops, guardrails, and of course the many power wires strung across the city are going to be your primary method of getting around. The few items in the world that aren't grindable are usually bouncy enough to get you to something that is. Combine that with an air dash that resets after every landing, wall runs, swinging, water dashing, and more, you end up being a mobility machine. It's a skill-based movement system that takes time to learn some of its depth, and it's a treat. You can tell it's good because it just feels right moving your character around and jumping all over the place, and it keeps introducing abilities frequently, if a bit unceremoniously, up until the game's final hours. But it wouldn't be the Mountain Dew of video games without copious amounts of enemies to gun down to accumulate some juicy bonus XP. and the movement system you use to traverse the world is one and the same with your combat strategies. The floor is lava. If not literally, you'll still want to treat it that way. Your default run speed is intentionally pitiful, there's no sprint button, and you're incredibly fragile. You'll want to take to the skies and grind for both defensive and offensive reasons, keeping you safe but also boosting your damage capabilities. Not only do the heights granted by your mobility give you a better vantage point to fire from, there's also a style system at play here. The game rewards you for constantly mixing it up between grinding and bouncing on different objects, and it's only upon reaching particular style thresholds mid-fight that all of your bonus perks from the game's progression system come into play. Style is lost if you stagnate and reset completely if you die, so the incentives are there to be in perpetual motion during combat. Any trips to the ground should be transient and only to acquire whatever health pickup or ammo might be lying there. It makes it so that your ideal state is to be in rotation around the arena in some way while firing down into it. Aim assist is generous and all weapons auto-reload, which allows you to keep the focus on your movements and pathing, but that's also the beauty of this system. By being so reliant on the environment for all aspects of combat, it not only gives the fighting a better sense of place, but also ensures that each fight is different. Fights at the power plant are vastly different from a fight in the river which bisects the city, which in turn is different from the insane verticality in the high-rises of Sunset's Rich District. There's also a big focus on enemy variety. Your foes largely consist of the game's not zombies who were humans before they consumed an energy drink that morphed them into orange pustule creatures with big glowy video game weak points, and new variations of these guys keep popping up as you progress. There's even a sort of typing system where different elementally themed attacks work better against certain types of enemies. The combat gets distributed in a few different ways, but it doesn't take too long for the game's overall routine to become clear. Discover a new area of the city, meet the faction in charge there, do some missions for them, boss fight, and then repeat with the next district. The missions themselves will take you all across Sunset City, frequently within a mission. It's not an obscenely large map, it's small and dense to ensure it was crafted with the authorship required to make traversing a breeze. It can be easily navigated end to end in just a few fun minutes, which makes you wonder why there's even a fast travel system here at all. But the mission variety is strong, and Insomniac finds different ways to mask its oftentimes intentionally superfluous objectives with comedy and slight modifications to the formula. It never evolves beyond just being a daisy chain of set pieces, but I think I'm okay with that because those set pieces are cooler than my favorite soda. I don't think I want to go on record saying that Sunset Overdrive is an excellent game, but it is one of the funnest great games I've played. It has the sort of problem that a lot of parkour games face with so many different objectives in the environment competing for your button presses that you'll sometimes magnetize to something you didn't want to. It can make grabbing specific collectibles a hassle. Its characters aren't interesting, and at its worst, the tone is wince-inducing, but beyond that, Sunset Overdrive gets the important parts right. It's got a unique gameplay hook that's actually fun to play with, and it's also got like 3 times as many train set pieces as most games by virtue of how badly the environment needs rails, so that's cool too. It's best to take the game at face value and treat it as seriously as it's asking to be treated. Put the most ridiculous outfit on your character and use the most ridiculous weapons. It's how it wants you to play. You know, the final paragraph is where I try to tie all my points together and end with a related zinger to really drive it home, but maybe a fourth wall break can supplement my inability to form a strong conclusion. Sunset Overdrive is Mountain Dew in game form. It's rebellious, it's youth-focused, and I like consuming it.